Tarhi eva rachikarat Maitreya uvacha priyaya priyamanvichan Kardamo yogamastitaha Vimanam kamagam shatta Tarhi eva rachikara
Kardama yogamastitaha
Maitreya vacha Kardamo yogamastitaha Vimanam kamagam shatta Tarhi eva virachikara Maitreya vacha
priyaya priyamanvichan Kardama yogamastitaha Vimanam kamagam shatta Tarhi eva virachikara.
Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya, Uvacha said, Priyaya, of his beloved wife, Priyam, the pleasure, Anvichan, seeking, Kardamaha, the sage Kardama, Yogam, yogic power, Astitaha, exercised, Vimanam, an airplane, Kamagam, moving at will, Shattaha, O Vidura, Tarhi, instantly, Eva, quite, Avirachikara, he produced. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Maitreya continued, O Vidura, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kardama exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel at his will. Please repeat. Maitreya continued, O Vidura, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kardama exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion that could travel at his will. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here the words yogamastita are significant. The sage Kardama was completely perfect in yoga. As the result of real yoga practice, there are 8 kinds of perfection. The yogi can become smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, or lighter than the lightest. He can achieve anything he likes. He can create even a planet. He can establish influence over anyone, etc. In this way, yogic perfection is achieved, and after this one can achieve the perfection of spiritual life. Thus it was not very wonderful for Kardama Muni to create a mansion in the air according to his own desire to fulfill the desire of his beloved wife. He at once created the palace, which is described in the following verses. The Sanstha Bhaktivedanta Parpoto Madhyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, in the last verses we have seen, Devahuti expressed her desire to Kardama Muni to make some arrangements, and immediately Priyaya Priyamanvichan, to please, to satisfy his wife, Kardamo Yogamastita, by using his yogic powers, Vimanam Kamagam Kshatta. Here Vidura is been addressed by Maitreya. He has created a big airplane. It's actually a mansion. Ordinary airplane, we know how difficult it is. So here Vimanam Kamagam, as he desired, he has manifested a mansion, a airplane which is actually a mansion. Tarihi eva, instantly. Tarihi means instantly he manifested. Avirachi karat, he produced. So modern mind, because we know how difficult it is to manufacture an airplane, Vimanam. There are some 2 big brands are there in the world, and even a smallest problem, will create a big havoc in the functioning of the airplane. So using our experience, this manufacturing of Vimanam is not easy. It has hundreds and thousands of parts, and they all have to work very nicely, perfectly as desired, and then ultimately the Vimanam will float and carry the passengers to the destination. Right? This is what we see. But here it says Tarihi, instantly he created a big airplane, and in our regular airplane, if you see, there is not much space. If you sit in the regular rows, one of the seats there, very crammed up, the front seat and the back seat, and you have to sit there, very little leg space. If you want more leg space, then you have to pay more. There are few seats where you get extra leg space. This is the Vimanam that we manufacture. And going to washroom or only that much is available. You can go to the washroom and safely come back. But other than that, you don't have any other facilities. They come to you and then give some food, and then you have to eat that food, whatever they supply. You have no choice. You cannot have whatever you want. So that's the kind of facility that we could produce in this modern advanced civilization. But here we are seeing he has produced Vimanam Kamagam Tarihi, instantly has produced an aerial mansion. So mansion means it's like a palace. And what is the description of that palace? We will see in the next few shlokas. We will hear. Very, very surprising. And it's a palace. Palace means all kinds of facilities. You can cook, you can roam around, you can do many things in a palace. So it's like that. But it's a Vimanam. This palace is floating in the sky. Actually, by looking at these descriptions, even the scientists are also excited. They are also trying to create some mansions now. Let us see if they survive. Then probably one day even we can travel in a little bit of a mansion So that's the yoga mastita. So here Prabhupada is mentioning about who is a perfect yogi. The real perfect yogi is one who always thinks of Krishna in his heart. He is the real yogi. But there are some yogis who aspire to get some siddhis, yoga siddhis. And for getting yoga siddhis also, they have to focus on Krishna, but then they are satisfied by acquiring some material arts. All these yoga siddhis are nothing but arts only, material arts. Like you have Bachelor of Arts, BA, it is material arts. Mostly masters are even more than that. And there are 18 numbers. In the 11th canto, Krishna explains there are 18 yogic perfections. But primarily 8 are there, they are known as Ashtasiddhi. Then there are 10 more secondary siddhis are there, they are also yogic perfections. So 18 yogic perfections are there. And Prabhupada is saying they are all material. That means if somebody gets these siddhis, it's not that he has acquired something spiritual. It is not a spiritual siddhi, but rather it is a material art. It's a question of understanding the process. So when a yogi practices meditation, focusing on Krishna, his consciousness becomes so fine, then he slowly understands how things work in this world. A person who starts understanding how the things will work, obviously you can utilize it and produce whatever he wants. Somebody who knows the creative process, he can manifest many things. Here also people are building big buildings and this and that. That means they understood the laws, how it works. If you get the cement, if you get the bricks, how they work and how they interact. It's all a question of understanding the laws. But these yogic perfections, they understand the subtle laws. They know what are the subtle energies which are working in this world. And by understanding and by controlling their own senses and by gaining this understanding, they will be able to utilize these subtle energies and achieve whatever things which are looking like impossible. So there are 8 perfections. One is called anima. We hear many times anima means to become the smaller than the smallest. Like Krishna, his anima siddhi is that he becomes so small that he can live within an atom. This is anima siddhi. Actually, these siddhis are permanently existing in Krishna in the fullest extent, supreme extent. He is the origin. And naturally these potencies exist in Krishna. But by meditating on Krishna in a specific way, a jiva can also acquire these yogic perfections. But then he cannot acquire that much quantity. Quality, we have same quality as Krishna, but quantity, we cannot have that similar quantity like Krishna. So yogic perfection one may get, but then he will get only a little quantity. So anima means to become the smaller than the smallest, so much so that he can pass through a stone. He becomes so smaller that he can pass through a stone. Within the stone there will be some gaps and all that, and he can pass through it. This is anima siddhi. And Prabhupada explains this anima siddhi is achieved by scientists because now they are able to drill holes through the hills and then they can enter. Actual real anima is what? To change our own body. It is manipulation of our own body. Our body becomes so small that we can pass through the stone. Jai Radha Govind. But then scientists ultimately achieved the purpose of passing through the stone by drilling big holes. Now you can pass through. The other day when we had this function, Ananta Sesha Sthapana, one preacher brought a donor and we asked him, what do you do? He said, we dig holes in the hills. And big mountains, they drill big holes. So we asked, do you have machinery? Huge, big machinery. And nowadays, even within the big hill also, they can make holes like that. So that is anima siddhi. So what a yogi tries to achieve by serious tapas and control of senses is achieved by the progress of science. Anima siddhi is there in the science also. So it is nothing but a material art, a material science. Art and science of drilling holes or entering the stone, that's all it is. So that is first one, anima. Then Prabhupada is saying, then there is mahima, means becoming bigger than the biggest. Like Krishna, in the form of Mahavishnu, his mahima can be seen. From his body, just by breathing, big universes are coming out. So it's bigger than the biggest. This is Mahimas. We cannot become so big, but still we can become bigger, and then we can cover many things. When you become too big, you can cover, certain vision. So this is Mahima. Then the third one is Lagima. This is becoming lighter than the lightest. Not smaller than the smaller, lighter than the light. Become very light. You become so light that now sun rays are coming today after 2-3 days of rain, tufan, right? Sun rays are there. Now this yogi who becomes lightest, he can walk on the sun rays and then reach the sun planet. Through the sun rays, he can reach the sun planet. Right? So this is the Lagima Siddhi. It's also a Siddhi. Of course, one has to perfect, otherwise how you can climb on the sun ray? It is not possible. So our scientists they're trying to reach moon. That has failed. Now they are saying we want to reach Mars. Already they started saying Mars. They created a story that they have landed in the moon and people reached, a human being reached moon. They created a story 50 years back. That's those days that was the scientific movie, a scientific fiction movie that they have produced, and then it has become very popular. But after 50 years or 60 years of advancement, they are not able to send anybody to moon. This is the current situation. They don't have that siddhi. They are saying they are sending some machines, rovers and investigators and discoverers or whatever, but landing on the moon by human beings, that is only 50 years back possible. Now it's not possible because you have advanced too much. Now moon is not required. So we'll go to Mars. Now here the yogi is thinking of going to sun. Some countries have started sending some observers or whatever you call for the sun also. Aditya and all those things. Names are there. So here you can see all those concepts exist. As the science develops, As the scientists are able to understand the subtle energies and subtle laws of this world, probably one day, yes, it's possible, but not by this gross mechanical science. Just by enhancing the fuel technology and the material that goes into making the spaceships, this advancement will not lead them anywhere. They have to understand the subtle energies. So, Lagima, and then Prabhupada explains, then Prapti. Prabhupada also says when somebody becomes lighter than the lightest, he can fly in the air. Yeah, he can fly in the air, or he can walk on the water, all those things. But those things are also achieved by modern scientists. We can now fly in the air by the airplanes and travel on the water. The other day they have shown one small, it's called hatchet, kind of a boat on the ocean, owned by one big billionaire from Singapore. And they are saying it is $1 billion, that little boat. That means 4,000 crores. 1 billion means, dollars means is even more, 8,000 crores. So I was thinking, what is that inside? Boat means some wood and this, but inside it's all made up of gold and diamonds and studded with rubies and this and that. And one unique point is that they also got some kind of a dinosaurus horn or something, which is made into a little bit of an ornament, and that is there inside the boat. Somewhere they are saying that they got the bone of a dinosaurus. Now that's the excitement nowadays. People are interested in becoming dinosaurs. So there's a lot of meditation is going on dinosaurs. So that is the. Then Prapti. These are some of the things which modern scientists could not achieve. For example, Prabhupada says Prapti means he can touch moon planet. Sitting here, he can extend his hand, touch the moon planet. And Prabhupada says not only that, he can sit here and say he can extend his hand and get pomegranate from Afghanistan. Whichever is the fruit which is available in any country. Prapti means he can extend his hand and then he can get the, it's called acquisition, Prapti means. So this, of course, we can get pomegranate from Afghanistan, but not by extending our hand. But there is a way, still you can get. The other day, I was asking our devotees, where did you get this pears? Because it's not available in it. They said, Prabhu, this is from Australia. Where did you get from these grapes that we are offering to the deities? Prabhu, this is from some other country. Nothing is from local. It's like that. So, Prapti means acquisition. You can acquire whatever fruit or whatever you want. You can acquire just by. So, these things will look very amusing, that whether these things are possible, but it's happening at a sample level. Prapti. Then there is one more called Ishita. Ishita means you can destroy or create a planet at will. You can, scientists have discovered nuclear bomb to destroy the planet partially. You cannot blow up the entire planet, not possible. But this yogi who has got this Ishita yogic power, siddhi, he can destroy the whole planet at will. And also he can create the whole planet at will. See, he can create. So here, Kardama Muni creating a small Vimanam, aerial mansion, instantly is nothing astonishing. Like Vishwamitra, he created a planet at his will. He wanted to send somebody to Swargaloka, and but he was sending him, and then in the Swargaloka they are not allowed him. They sent him back, and then when he is falling down, Vishwamitra decided to create a Trishanku Swarga. There's one more planet he created and put the man there. So like that we hear from some Vedic instances where these siddhis are exhibited by some great rishis. So then Ishita, then Vashita means bringing anybody under one's control. His talks, his actions are so hypnotic that anybody he can bring under his control. This is called Vashita. Sometimes we see such yogis, they come out of their yogic practices. Moment they get little power like that, they come into the masses, and then when they exhibit their mystic power, we'll see thousands of people getting attracted to them, and then they come under his control. That is called Vashita. Then there is a Prakamya. Prakamya means one can achieve anything he likes. He can enjoy or experience anything that he wants. Prakamya. And then there is one more, Prabhupada is giving an example here. One can make water enter into his eyes. Water can go into his eyes, and from the eyes the same water can come out. This is called Prakamya. And then there is one more called Kama Vasayata. Kama Vasayata means it's ultimate perfection. He can do anything that he wants. And Prabhupada explains the difference between Prakamya and the Kama Vasayata by saying Prakamya means to create wonderful effects within the scope of nature. Within the scope of the nature, Kama Vasayata permits one to contradict the nature. In other words, to do the impossible. These are all called yogic perfection. They give some temporary happiness, and the people may get some adoration, excitement in the crowds. He may become very famous, but that's only a temporary happiness. And if the yogi does some sinful activities, immediately he will have to face the reaction. Yogic power he achieves by practicing control of senses, by practicing all those methodologies. But once he gets these powers, if he misuses that power, then he will be punished. He has to face the tune. He has to go through the suffering. Like in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, we see how there is one yogi used to be there in the forest, and then he used to claim that I have become Mahavishnu. I am Mahavishnu, Lord Mahavishnu. This is what he used to say. And he started, telling everybody that since I am God, I can enjoy the way I want. Now we will have rasa dance. So you send all your daughters and wives like that. And then when he started doing these sinful activities, Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur takes it up that this false incarnation has to be exposed. That's how he goes from Jagannath Puri to that area, and he confronts that yogi. As soon as the yogi sees Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, "Yes, Kedarnath Datta, yes, I am waiting for you. You have come here, so I am God. You can ask me whatever you want. I'll give you everything. Don't disturb me." So then, anyway, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is, and then that yogi says, I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that, Jagannath, the Lord is there in Jagannath Puri, and if you are really God, then why don't you come to Jagannath Puri? Then he makes a comment that that Jagannath cannot move, but I am the same Jagannath who can move and do all the things that are required. So as soon as he offends Lord Jagannath like that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur becomes very angry, and then he forces the yogi to come to the judicial system. And many people fear going close to the yogi and to administer the punishment. So at that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he decides to take the action by himself, and then he first of all cuts the hair of that yogi, because these yogic powers are in some of the yogis is stored in this hairs. So as soon as he shaves him up, he becomes a pauper, and then that that yogi who claimed himself to be incarnation of God, he dies by committing suicide in the jail. That is his ultimate fate. So when the yogic powers come, this is the problem. They become very proud, and then they start breaking, they start committing sinful activities. And pride precedes fall down, and such yogis, they fall off into disgrace. So similarly, when the devotees, when they start practicing bhakti yoga is the highest yoga. Actually, Krishna, after explaining all these yogic perfections in the 11th canto, he says the experts in devotional service, they declare that all these yogic perfections, that means trying to achieve these perfections, is actually an impediment in devotional service. If these perfections can be achieved by science, and you can get the same benefits by paying some money, why should we waste our time in trying to achieve such perfections? Why not try to achieve something that is not possible? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhi. Out of thousands and thousands of people, only few will get siddhis, these siddhis. But then out of such hundreds and thousands of such siddhas, only one can understand Krishna in truth. Now this is the glory of Krishna. So a devotee, by the mercy of a pure devotee, he has attained Krishna, so he is not interested in attaining any of these yogic siddhis. We are interested in rendering our services with love and care. As part of your services, you need to have some abilities and capacities or whatever is needed, that Krishna will give you. If you get the service in a descending process, you should not assume the service by yourself. It should come in the descending process, and if you accept that service and try to execute that, whatever yogic mystical perfections are required, they'll all will be bestowed by the Lord to the devotee, and finally devotee will become victorious. And that's how Our Narasimha has become miracle Narasimha. He is full of all mystic powers, mystic perfections. So Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is happy to bestow all his perfections. That's why we see Prabhupada. So he hypnotized even hippies by his kirtan, by his chanting of Hare Krishna, by the pure philosophy of Krishna consciousness. He has charmed the whole world. And then he convinced them that these material perfections, siddhis, they are not the biggest things. The biggest thing is to attain shelter of Krishna. And we can see how devotees are charmed by Prabhupada, and then they even gave up their wonderful careers and dedicated their lives for the service of the Lord. And the same thing happened with each one of us. We are also hypnotized by Krishna. Krishna is the supreme hypnotizer. We all came under his control. So this attachment or attraction to Krishna, that is the success. If one has to define what is success, the success is to get attracted to Krishna and his service. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.